Today on Faces of Florence, Kyle Hardee. The Florence community recently got the chance to stand up and support one of our own in the wake of a theft from Tubb's Shrimp and Fish Company, and the results were spectacular.
Hey, welcome. We're so glad you found us. Radio Free is a 24-hour Christian mixed radio station broadcasting right here out of Florence, South Carolina. So when you're driving around town, remember to tune it in to 92.5. And if you're outside of the Florence area, you can listen 24 hours a day at radiofree.cc.
Kyle Hardee.
Yo.
Welcome to the Radio Free Studios and welcome to Faces of Florence. Now, some of our viewers may recognize you as the owner-operator of Tubb's Shrimp and Fish Company here in Florence.
Yes, sir.
Home of the best bang shrimp in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
But the reason you popped on my screen to talk to today was because you had kind of an interesting event happen in your life recently to you and to your restaurant. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I usually like to start these interviews finding out a little bit more about our guest. So can you tell me a little bit about you, where you were born and raised, how you got in the restaurant business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually born and raised in Bennettsville, South Carolina.
Okay.
Not far from here, I guess about 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
And not a whole lot going on in Bennettsville and didn't have a whole lot going on for me personally.
Okay.
Kind of came from a dysfunctional home, to say the least.
I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of dysfunction. Pretty tough times, and then I made it tougher on myself through some poor decisions.
Been there?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Okay.
And found my way to Florence in 2006.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What brought you here?
I had to get out of Bennettsville. Yeah. I was involved in some extracurricular activities that were bringing my life down
Gotcha.
and potentially harmful to my life.
Florence was an escape, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, somewhere in there you got interested in cooking and restaurant business. Tell me about that.
So I'm not a chef, and so recently I was looking at they do the best of the PD and all these nominations. And somehow they have me nominated as best chef in the PD, Kyle Hardee, and I do very little chef things. Yeah, I'm.
You're a facilitator?
Well, I'm the best busboy in the PD. I'm all things about the hospitality industry interest me.
Okay.
But my background primarily was my grandfather owned and operated a seafood market, gas station, and restaurant in Sunset Beach, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Bill's Seafood and Krabby Oddwaters were the name of the seafood market and the restaurant. And I would spend my summers living in Sunset Beach, working in the seafood market. I never got promoted above shrimp deheader and flounder cutter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And in the restaurant, I'd be busboy.
But you were soaking it all up. Huh?
I was soaking it all up.
Yeah.
Really, it's my passion just to serve people. I'm the most fortunate because I have truly found what God intended me to do on this earth. Like square or like round peg in round hole.
Yeah. You figured it out. Huh?
I figured it out.
That's wonderful.
And that's to serve people through food and through hospitality.
Yeah.
But as far as my culinary background, I love to cook and I can do anything in that kitchen. If a fry guy calls out, I'm fry guy.
All right.
If grill, saute, whatever it is, if they call out, I jump on it and I handle that. But it's not my strong suit.
So you got into the business then, and obviously, if you're going to run a business like that, you need a good staff. So you just were able to kind of suss out the guys that do it well?
So I was very fortunate to have two partners when I began this.
Okay.
And where my deficits lied was kind of their attributes.
Oh, okay.
So to speak. When we first started Tubbs, Shoot, I don't even know. It'd have been 8 years ago, so 2013.
Yeah.
I had a partner who was more well-versed in the kitchen, and then I had a partner who was organized and could do administrative stuff. And
Perfect.
And I am unorganized, and I do not do administrative stuff very well. So I was blessed to have those guys, to complement myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to the event at hand here. I don't do much social media stuff. I try to keep up with what's going on for Radio Free and whatnot, but I happen to just kind of see this post. I think several people sent it to me as well. I was like, you got to check this out. And I'll let you take it from there. Tell, in case somebody hasn't seen this, a lot of people have seen it.
So I made 2 videos and just a post about. First, when the trailer was stolen, I made a post just thinking, maybe this will have some type of impact. And between that initial post and the 2 subsequent videos, they had over 400,000 views on Facebook.
I just saw that there was like 1,500 shares.
Oh,
who gets 1,500 shares?
I don't even know. I guess it'd be viral.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was. I mean, it was on the news the night after it happened. They even came in and did like they videoed me and did like, we're going to put me on the news, asking me questions. And before they could post it that night for the 6 o'clock news, it had been found. I was fortunate.
Well, let's back it up just in case somebody wasn't a part of that. You have this trailer and it's parked right outside.
Yeah, I just got done using it. Yes, sir. That thing, it gets a lot of work in. So initially, I do a lot of on-site caterings, primarily oyster roast, low country boil, stuff like that. And I would show up for these 300-person oyster roasts with a couple of pots. I mean, like roughing it. That's
a long day.
That's kind of how I do things.
Yeah.
And so the first couple of years in the business, that's how I would get my catering done. It wasn't efficient. I knew there was a better way, so I started dreaming up. I mean, literally dreaming up this thing. I was thinking about, I could put this here. I need to do this many bushels of oysters, and so I kind of dreamt up a steamer on wheels. And a buddy of mine, or 2 friends of mine, actually work for American Mechanical and Piping in Sherrill, South Carolina. And I went over there and I was like, hey, man, can this be done? And they said, I think we could do something like this. So they got with their design team and their shop. And so this would have been 2009. I wanted it for oyster season 2009.
Okay.
It didn't make it for oyster season 2009. No. It wasn't ready by the end. This is a huge piece of equipment, a lot of labor hours, a lot of retooling. They do it this way and find it really didn't work that way and have to go back to drawing board. So it took some time to get the project accomplished, and they were really doing it as a favor to me too. They had a lot of other work going on, and this isn't what they do by trade.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like a little project for them. So I didn't get it in time for oyster season.
Okay.
But
back to the pots.
I was back to the pots, but I did get it in time for COVID. Right. Okay. So and this kind of backtracking even more, but I was doing a catering and I started hearing these rumors about people getting sick and stuff like this, and I was at an event and I looked at somebody at the event and I said, they're going to shut restaurants down. Mm-hmm. And this guy said, I own a restaurant, there's no way we can do that. I said, I think they're about to shut restaurants down. And lo and behold,
sure enough.
1st of March, I believe it was, 2020, they shut restaurants down.
Yeah.
And I went to bed that night. The night, like, after they came out with all the regulations, I had to shut our doors, all this stuff. I went to bed that night in fear of everything.
Sure.
I mean, I come from nothing, right? When I came to Florence, I literally had like 3 trash bags of clothes on my back. Wow. And I haven't built much, but I knew that everything I built, it was like sand through my fingers. Kind of. I went to bed thinking that, but I went to bed praying. And I woke up that next morning and I had a missed call from a local business owner named Frank Chisholm.
Okay.
And like 6:30 in the morning, and I had done some catering for him in the past. I'm like, what does Frank want? And so I called Frank and he said, hey, can you feed my entire staff? He owns a few businesses downtown. Can you feed my entire staff lunch every day until this thing's over? And I'm just like,
yeah.
I'll make it work. you know, we had, you know, really no staff to speak of at this point. I say that a lot of our managers stepped up and helped out a lot, but we weren't generating enough revenue to keep staff on board, really.
Yeah.
This was just to keep the lights on. And so we started doing these daily caterings. I mean, just, you know, 5 days a week, and it was a beast. And I was using that, and I had the steamer. I was like, well, maybe we could use a steamer to do some of this. So once a week, they were eating Low Country Boil over at Mr. Frank's, but on top, it still wasn't enough. That catering, albeit a saving grace, wasn't enough to continue the restaurants. I mean, it's there's a lot of cost go into it. So I had this idea. I was like, not only is this an oyster steamer, but it's a steamer. We don't just have to cook oysters. We can do other stuff. So it was like a traveling circus. Me and my two partners, and my daughter at times would help out. And you know, I got a friend named Jonathan Skipper from Bennettsville. He'd come and volunteer. So I wouldn't even let us pay him. We would go to these communities around the PD, and we would on the side of the road cook Low Country Boil. Wow. You know, shrimp, sausage, corn, potato kind of deal, and crab legs for hundreds of people, and they would buy it every time. I mean, and it was the first time I did it back in Bennettsville, my hometown. A local business was kind of upset and called the cops and had me kicked out of my location. So, and I was kind of just had this righteous indignation. I was like, I'll show you. Right. I said, everybody go to my granddaddy's house. He's not even in the city limits. And so I pull up at my grandfather's house, and there's like 200 cars in his yard. It's just people lined up around the corner to buy this food, man. So I didn't get the trailer when I wanted it, but I got it when I needed it. It came in at just the perfect time. So this trailer was very, I mean, it you know, it's a substantial amount of money as far as building and stuff like that. But the real value of it was, well, not even, it was my baby.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
It saved
came
me.
In clutch, right.
It brought my team together. You know what I'm saying? It saved the business. This thing was a godsend, right? Yeah. And so it got us through COVID. We opened back up and I didn't have enough time to operate it as the steamer wagon on the side of the road, the traveling, you know, carny.
Yeah.
But it was still a very valuable catering tool for me. And so I was and that fast forward to when it got stolen, I was at Nucor doing Sunoco doing a catering for them in Hartsville. And it was a Friday, and I came back and I was beat. I was tired. And I cleaned it up, get it washed all good, put the tongue lock on it. And I forgot to put the wheel lock back on it. And then Monday morning, my partner called. He said, "Hey, you seen the steamer?" I was like, "That's right where I parked it, behind Tubbs." He's like, "You idiot. No, it's not." So, I mean, it was gone.
That's hard.
You know? And then I sunk to the bottom of my chair. It was the most defeating feeling. Because I feel like we emerged from 2020. I just felt lucky to have emerged from 2020, and it's kind of like you feel like you made it over a hill, and then there's a taller hill behind it, kind of deal. You know, it was very deflating.
So that's when I saw the video, and it was fascinating because, and tell me how it worked out. You just grabbed your phone and said, I just got to get vent.
Well,
it's what it felt like. Very stream of
so at first, my partner Travis, there's only two of us now. COVID also took a partner from me. He didn't die or anything. He just moved on to greener pastures. But Travis was like, "Hey man, I think you ought to make a video saying we got cameras up, we know who you are, we got your license plate, da da da." And I started thinking to myself, I was like, first off, it's just not. It's not that it's not true, but it was just like, why bluff? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point in a bluff here? I think the people that do appreciate me, what they appreciate is my sincere. I'm true to who I am.
Straight shooter. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You're gonna get me on this conversation here, as you would get me in a pool hall, as you would get me talking to the president. That's kind of who it is. But I feel like I feel like that's a gift too.
Yeah.
Because people see, I mean, my passion and emotion, and I wear it on my sleeve. And sometimes it's not great. I mean, I've, in the heat of things, I've, embarrassed my children and my wife and threatened to do things and stuff like that. But in this particular instance, I just knew, hey, just talk from the heart, and that's kind of what it turned into.
Well, it's a fantastic piece of work. I don't know how you can describe it, because it really is a stream of consciousness plea. And it really struck me, Kyle, in a couple of ways. One, just because your sincerity is just obvious, and that's kind of it's surprising. A lot of people are, especially on social media, there's this fake thing. And it was obvious that you were very sincere. But then there was a couple of things that you said in there that really struck me. One was that you said to the perpetrator, "Hey, just bring it back, and everything's good. Just bring it back." He said, "You said I won't do anything. I'll cook you some food, and we'll just sit and talk." And it was just like, wow, who says something like that? And then later in the thing, you said, just be glad that it's the saved Kyle, and not the Kyle from years back, because I would have burned your grandma's house to the ground.
And I meant every word of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I thought there's a story there, man. So tell me, if you will, what fuels that? Why did you not just rage at these guys for stealing your property? Why did you take a pause and say, "Hey, just come, let's talk"?
I guess the season of my life I'm in right now, man. I've up until this point, my motto's been, "I'll get it done. I got wide shoulders. I'll tote this rock." And I would even, I'd even say it to God. That's what I thought my relationship is, all right, keep pounding on me. I'll tote this rock. I got it. I mean, I've come from nothing. I just can't be broken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll fight this battle. Watch me go.
Right.
And I have recently discovered that that's not the way it's intended to be at all. I'll lay down my sword. That's kind of, that's where I'm at the season of my life now. I'm just going to lay down this sword, and I don't even have any. There are no battle. I don't even have any battles to fight, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
Trusting in my inabilities. You know what I'm saying? Trusting in my lack of, and knowing that there is an abundance that I can draw from, or that just kind of just feed. You know what I'm saying? That just piles it on me.
Wow, that's pretty special. That's very humble. And, I think sometimes men in the South struggle with that very thing. They want to be the guy that totes the rock.
I was raised by a Marine Corps daddy.
Yeah.
Who, I remember, I guess I must have been 9, 10 years old, and I'd made all-stars in football. And, so I'm a kid, and this guy, and we're at practice, and we're doing this defensive drill, and I hit this guy, and my helmet pops off. My head, the helmet hits my head, busts my head open, knocks me out. And I can remember my dad would smelling salts are. Pop us, and I guess he popped. I was out, but I just remember waking up with him doing smelling salts on my nose. Said, get up, boy. You know what I'm saying? Kind of deal. And so that's how I was raised. So it is very counterintuitive to kind of lay down your guard and lay down your arms.
Well, I share that worldview with you too, and it definitely is a process getting there. But it was really beautiful to see it playing itself out, because this was before you got the thing back. You were just laying it out there. You were just like, hey, and so I kept checking back to see, because I think everybody was fascinated at what this thing was happening. A couple days later, it was found.
Yeah, 48 hours later.
Tell me about that. Where and who, and do you have any contact with anybody?
Man, I was at work at Tubbs, and I get a call on the Tubbs line, and I answer, and he says, "Hey, this is Detective such and such in Lancaster." I thought they called and said it was a Florence City Police. He said, "Hey, they found your trailer in." I thought he said Lexington, and I was like, "What?" What? He said, "Yeah, somebody's gonna be calling you." And then he says, "Oh, I gotta go," and he hangs up. And I'm just going, oh my God. Oh, I started screaming.
Yeah.
And people are in the dining room and like people that had never been there before and didn't know, I was a fool already. And they're looking at me like, and the service had to go out and explain, hey, he lost something very important to him. It's been found. Everything's okay. And I was just, I was just through the roof. It was nuts, man.
Well, so they told you where to go?
Deputy sheriff was just patrolling in it was Lancaster. It was almost in Rock Hill.
Okay.
And he just saw something weird behind the church, and he pulled back there, and he saw this thing, and he didn't even know what it was, and he called in over the radio. He was like, hey, man, I found this thing. It's got Tubbs written on the back of it. And somebody on the radio had seen the Facebook post, and they said, that's missing from Florence from a place called Tubbs. So that Friday morning, we had it back in our possession. And the bad part of it was, leading up to this, we were donating the trailer to a local organization. And they were using it for like a 200-person oyster roast,
like a charity thing,
a charity event that Saturday. and so I had the pots and pans out. I was like, man, we're just going, we're going to do a pots and pans. And so, just like, man, and that's the story of my life. I mean, right when I need it the most, I just, the veil is torn down.
There you go. Well, it's an exciting story. It's dramatic, but I think it really kind of showed your heart. And just like you said at the beginning of this conversation, you were put on this earth to serve people. And you do it in a restaurant setting, but it's more than that, obviously. And so it's just exciting to be able to talk to you about that kind of thing and to let you know that you've inspired a lot of people with that post to, I think, examine some stuff about their lives. So I appreciate that. Tell me some more about Tubbs at this point. Tell me what's going on. You guys are back open.
Oh, yeah. So
you got that Airstream out there?
The Airstream, yeah, we turned the Airstream into a bar. So outdoor, the patio is now enclosed. I got air conditioning in there, full service bar, running out of the Airstream. It's really neat. I'm so proud of that place. We also own King Hefe, downtown Florence, which is, I love Tubbs. That's my baby, but God, that food at King Hefe, that's my favorite. And we also own Sweet, which is a bakery here in town.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. And I'm not much on ambiance. I mean, you walk into Tubbs, it's a concrete building. There's not a whole lot I could do with it. But I think what we lack in ambiance, we more than make up for. And the quality food, but also the service, man. It's crucial. I'm reading the reviews every day, and I'm just pouring into my guys. Hey, man, these are all our expectations and of how we need to serve this community and serve the people that dine there.
And again, what you just said, you're a business owner and you're making money. This is a for-profit business, but your servant's heart is what shines through. And so I just want to celebrate that, man. I think it's awesome. And I think that Florence is full of people like that. And I'm glad that you decided to spend some time with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And the crazy part was how the community responded to all of this. I mean, I had, I wear his hat, Mr. Rick Havocost at Mickey Finn's. I mean, this dude, the day it happened, he called me. He said, hey, man, I'll give you $5,000 a day to start building a new trailer. I mean, like the day it happened. And, I had friends that I hadn't seen in 10 years that I grew up with call me and say, hey, I want to add to the reward. I mean, it was unreal. It's actually even, so I got this guy that I'm getting to know, and he's like a great spiritual mentor. And I really didn't have a personal relationship with him prior to the trailer being stolen. But the day it was stolen, he called up at Tubbs. He didn't even have my cell phone number. He said, hey, this is Jay Duke. He owns a Rivercrest Group here in Florence. He said, I just want to let you know that I called my guys, and I'm not going into work day, and I'm going to find this trailer for you. And I'm like, do what? Somebody that eats at my restaurant that I really had not had any personal interaction with other than, hey, how you doing, Jay? And he called me and said, hey, man, I'm stopping everything I'm doing. I got patrolman buddies from here to Georgia, North Carolina. He said, and I'm calling everyone, and we're gonna find us during trailer today. It's like if only the people knew when they were doing it, or if only I knew when this was happening, the benefits from it. hokey, like, and I'm not talking about like the exposure and more people coming to eat and the sales and stuff like that, but the benefits on a personal relationship nature and a spiritual nature. Like, I feel I'm blessed that it ever happened to me, kind of deal.
You got to see how loved you are. A lot of people don't get that. That's
yes,
huge,
sir.
man.
That's true.
Well, again, I just want to say thank you for spending some time with us. We're going to put links to your restaurant along with this video just so people can check you out. And anything you got going on in the future, anything we need to know about coming?
Man, we're just, we're going to continue to operate Tubbs and King Hefe and Suite to the best of our abilities. In the restaurant industry, we're facing like a staffing crisis right now.
I hear that from everybody.
It's kind of tough to find employees right now, but we're getting it done with who we have, and who we have, they're really coming together. I mean, that pressure builds diamonds kind of deal. Mm-hmm. We're getting some diamonds, that's great, out of the guys we have and girls we have. And nothing outside of, we're just going to continue to do what we're doing to serve our community. We're always pushing to get better. The food, the service, even the atmosphere. There's ways. I know there's ways I can improve there. But I'm just grateful that I get to do this. And I had delusions. A couple years ago, delusions. Oh, we're going to have 10 restaurants and this many. I need to do this many. The sales, and all that's kind of fell to the wayside. And I think what I got is enough. And I'm just, we're just going to roll what we got and keep doing what we're doing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle Hardee, thank you so much for being a part of Faces of Florence today.
I appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you.